Have you ever heard the expression, nature abhors a vacuum? I don't know who said that, but it is really seriously true. And I don't think it's more true anywhere on the planet than in your typical workshop. And it's certainly the case for me. This shop, when I took it over 2.5 years ago, was completely empty, all bare walls. And someday I'm going to give you a tour, but you can't believe the amount of junk that I've accumulated in this thing in that short time period. Now, admittedly, this is all my fault, and there's really two key contributors to the problem that I have here. One is my own inability to pass up an awesome piece of junk or material that I see. It could be on the side of the road in the trash pile. I love flea markets. So that's one source, but there's another source that contributes significantly to the problem that I have. When you get yourself a workshop, you become the recipient of lots of cool stuff. And these three guys they're three Santa Clauses in my life. John gave me this copper flashing and this valve hand wheel here a couple weeks ago. Ted bequeathed on me this awesome little Craftsman lathe project, which I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but who can turn that down? And then Doug brought me over today this awesome little gas kiln furnace and a whole box full of scraps and parts, including some really nice brass artwork pieces. So thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, we're just looking
Gets it out of our shop into yours.
Your best sentence is that ours.
Yeah. My wife thanks you.
Mine too, as a matter
I
of
think
fact.
my wife thanks you too. I'm not sure.
So Doug calls me yesterday and he said, my friend's dad passed away, and we're cleaning out his shop, and boy, he's throwing all kinds of stuff away. So would you be interested in some of this scrap material, bits and pieces, and also I've got a horizontal bandsaw, an old one that needs to be restored. It's like a treasure chest. See here, we've got a nice little tray full of little brass cutoffs and so forth, so that will go in my cutoff bowl that I keep, and I'll use every one of those things. All kinds of little bits and pieces there. Nice bronze gear. I'll probably smelt that at some point, so we'll keep that. We'll put that in smelt. And then the father or the grandfather was a clockmaker, and there are two really very interesting brass plaques here that the gentleman made, and hand etched, hand cut. This one has got some sort of astrological dial that moves, and this was going to be a part of a clock movement, but was never used. And then this is a very similar type of device, and all hand etched. This thing is just gorgeous. I'm going to put this on the wheel. Doug didn't even know what was in here, so I told him if I found anything of any real value, I would let him know. Nice piece of aluminum plate. I'll definitely get use out of that. Another piece of scrap. Here's I don't know if that's heavy wall piping, but very nice piece of steel there, so I'll hold on to that. Oh, that's kind of sad. There's a micrometer. Let's see what kind that is. It might be a Chinese one. It's not in great shape. It's a central machinery, so it's not a very good one. But it's, it's a wall hanger. I'll put it in vinegar and clean it up. That's interesting. I don't know what that could be. I'm not sure what the name for this is, but it's for taking your drill around the corner. Zephyr, it says. I'll have to look that up. Some inside calipers. Let's see if they're marked. No marks on that one. No marks on that one. But that's a nice friction one. I'll tell you, I've got some that use the little thumb screw, and they're real tedious. So I'm glad I don't have any like this, so I'm very glad to have this. So I'll soak these in vinegar and clean them up. This inside one, I don't have an inside one. It says MTC, Greenfield, Massachusetts. That's a nice American-made set of calipers. Love it, love it. We'll clean that up. It'll have a place of honor in the shop. Oh, and another one of these. Beautiful. These are really interesting. I'm going to do some research, and if I find out anything about them, I'll let you know.